Welcome back to another YouTube Tuesday. My name is Derek, and today we're going to be going over a bunch of short clips that I've come across on YouTube that I found very interesting. So let's get into the video. Looks like this first one is an iPhone looking at a CPU reball going along with some hot air and a scalpel to carefully scrape the underfill so you can pop it off without pulling off all of those surrounding components. With the larger nozzles, he's able to do that. Looks like he's also popping off the NAND, removing the underfill that's under the CPU with just hot air, adding some flux, and with hot air again and some tweezer and some wick, he's able to suck up all of the solder. Now he's warming up the entire stencil so it doesn't warp as much, and he's reballing it. Now a couple things right off the bat that I noticed is that he's not using any low melt solder. Definitely help in wicking off the pads. There's some left behind. The solder balls that are kind of popping out of the stencil when he's reflowing it look like they're where those little capacitors are, so that's not a big deal. But when he pulls off the actual CPU itself, it looks like he didn't scrape all of the underfill because you can see that it pulls off a row of capacitors there. Kind of annoying to have to put back, but you know, it is what it is. But overall, it shows you how easy it can be with the right tools. Hot air being the main thing needed. You need a really good rework station to be able to do this type of work effectively. Let's see if this next clip can do it a little bit better. Alright, so he's got a really fine hook tool that's definitely thinner than the scalpel at the end. And he's scraped the underfill and he's popping it up with another blade. Yeah, the removal of the CPU is a little bit better, a little cleaner than the other one. He's adding flux around the perimeter and carefully popping it up, and I don't see components come off with it. And a good portion of the underfill stayed on the motherboard versus on the CPU itself, making the CPU cleanup a little bit easier. So now supposedly this is what's inside of an Apple CPU. I personally have never seen this type of thing, but maybe if you grind through the RAM and you get down to the CPU, this is what you'll find. But it still is quite amazing to see how deep some of the technology is going today. You can go so far down and find all of these little traces and vias and components that are mind-bogglingly small. And it still keeps going. It is insane. And it keeps going. That's insane. Alright, it looks like this next one, we've got an iPhone that's got a broken back. And from the looks of it, we're going to go straight to using some hot air. Now this is definitely a way to do the backlash repairs. If you don't take apart the motherboard, if you don't take out the motherboard, during backlash repairs there's potential for it to get damaged, but she's already taken off her protective eyewear, and this backlash is coming up too easy. I mean, somebody's definitely replaced this before, and I can actually see that there are large holes for that backlash. So this is never how easy it is to take off the backlash, even with a good rework station. But she's cleaning it up, getting all of the broken glass out. This is a nice tool to use to whip up adhesives. I use it for a lot of different things, including that. So, all right, well, that's quite the short video. Looks like the previous tech didn't glue it down too crazy well. But pulling the back glass off with a rework station, in my opinion, is, if you're really good at it, is cleaner and safer than using the laser machines. However, the laser machines make it so much easier to remove the back glass. Let me know in the comments below what do you prefer? Laser machines for back glass, or swapping out the whole frame instead of doing the back glass, or using a rework station, hot air, and pulling off the back glass that way. Alright, this next one looks like we've got an iPhone 12 screen that's broken. Just put some backing tape on there to help keep the glass together, with some probably isopropyl alcohol to help remove the bezel with the assistance of the heat pad below. And there's some really annoying adhesive that holds the flex to the bracket there, so you have to carefully remove it. And he's probably replacing the digitizer because there's no touch, so he's folded out the digitizer flex, and it looks like I actually cut it off before removing the glass/digitizer portion. Got a good portion of the OCA off in the wire cutting, and he's cleaned the rest, installing a new digitizer that's pre-installed on the glass, laminating it, and putting it in an autoclave to debubble. Still needs to put on the bezel, but that looks nice and clean. Comment down below if you've ever replaced the glass or the digitizer before. Alright, this one, it looks like it's on a Sunshine LS3, a new heating platform that they have. It looks like it's relatively small, fitting all sorts of different phones and tablets to help you heat it up. It's like your standard heat pad, but this one looks like it's much more compact, taking up less space. Available at mobilecentrics.com. Alright, so those are just a handful of videos I wanted to share with you. Comment down below if there's this particular repair that you're struggling with and you'd like some assistance on, and I'll see what I can do to make a video. Thanks a ton for watching. We'll see you in the next video.